How does that feel, baby?
Lower.
How does that feel, baby?
All right, all you RYAO hooligans. We're out here running around like a bunch of fooligans. Woo-hoo. This is the RYAO Network Rockcast. Check out our website at ryao.net. On the Contact Us page, you can send us a message, and also at the top, select from any of our social media outlets. We for sure greatly appreciate all of our social media followers, including all you cats and kittens on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're here with our good friends, Nick Sabat on sports,
WZUP,
and Sticks Hooligan on weather.
Hey, all you Jezebels and jerk-offs out there. How you doing for week 10 of RYAO Nation in the house? Say what?
Are you doing this intro, or...
Oh, sorry. Let's back up.
We always like to check in to see what everybody's drinking. So, Nick, what's your social lubricant of choice today?
You know what? Last week, excuse me, while I'm taking this bottle cap off
What
of
are you,
here.
bowling? You need help with your bowling ball over there?
No,
What's going on?
Got well, you guys can see right here. I've got a couple of beers that I want to showcase this week. The first one, which I've already downed, is from New Glarus Brewing Company. I had some New Glarus last week, straight from Wisconsin. This one is called Totally Naked. Oh yeah, check it out. And it's a fine beer. So check out Totally Naked from New Glarus. And I'm about to enjoy an Oktoberfest from Sam Adams. Sticks. Over to you.
Over to me. I've got, you know what? I'm not fucking around. I've got a new beer here. It's called Reverse Cow. Is that a sex position? That doesn't sound very apple. Yeah, just reverse cow.
Well, I think that's like a genetic.
Yeah.
I think that's like an agricultural thing, isn't it?
No, the logo makes it look like two cows are. You know what? I've got the wrong beer. I'm drinking
Is it upside down or what?
I'm drinking the stuff I had last week is Technical Ecstasy from Second Shift Brewing in St. Louis. It's a Czech style Pilsner. Get it and get wasted. Hey, Kay, what's up with you? What?
Does that have a condom taped on the bottom of it too, or no?
You're going to trick me into turning my can upside down to look at it. I spill my beer. I've had this trick happen to me many a time, you asshole.
Oh,
not this week.
You.
Yeah, come on. What are you drinking, Maniac Man?
Well, I got a what's called a local yellow cream ale from Pappy Slocum's Brewing. Pappy Slocum Brewing Company. And it's from Abilene, Texas. It's a 4.7, which makes me feel a little bit cheated, but
it's okay.
It's
it sounds
cream
interesting.
Ale.
I mean,
yeah.
Don't say those words like 3 times in a row. It sounds like.
Right. But it's it's good. It's different. It's not like a lager. It's got a little bit fuller body, a little less alcohol, so a little less fun, but still pleasing to the palate.
Nothing wrong with a fuller body.
Yep. More cushion for the drinking.
What?
Huh?
So I don't have any loose ends today, boys. But
we're clean.
I got a question for you.
And we got an answer.
I got a question for all the wild people over here. What you got?
Do you have a rock star encounter? Do you have a rock star encounter? So,
wow.
For instance,
several.
There was a time when I met a young man named Michael Anthony. I didn't meet him, but I saw him backstage when I was stage crewing. And I just got done reading an article about him in Guitar Player magazine, I think it was, or Guitar magazine. And the title of the article was Iron Mike So I don't know what possessed me, but I saw him
Barbells.
saw his little tubby little body making its way across the floor, and
I guess Iron Mike's never going to get on this program.
and
Yeah, that's out. God damn it.
And I said, hey, Sticks told me to tell your tubby little ass. No.
His tubby little ass.
He was not tubby. He is not as Sticks portrays him. At least at that time, he wasn't. He was.
Sticks, have you been portraying Iron Mike as tubby or stubby?
I've got
or
a
whatever?
reputation. No, I've witnessed.
You call him a fire plug.
I call him a human fire plug because I believe he is about as tall as one. Is that not right?
Well, yeah, he was
You can pick him up.
smaller, a smaller being than I kind of. You know, when you're used to seeing people in magazines and stuff, they look bigger. They look more up close and personal, and
Yeah.
when you see them from a distance, they just look. They're like, wow, I thought you were taller. You know,
But he's thick, right? I mean, he's about as wide as he is tall. He's like a perfect
well, at
square.
that time, I don't remember him being thick. I just remember him being, just a small dude, like a regular sized guy.
All
Did
right,
you put him in
regular-
your pocket?
I did not, but I did yell, Iron Mike!
Yeah.
Jesus.
How'd
And
that
he
go?
looked over at me, and I gave him, I don't know, the thumbs up or the, hey, you little buddy or something. I don't know. Anyway, there was an acknowledgement of the Iron Mike, and that was my rock star encounter.
He came over and started giving you the right in the balls, like the stationary, the stationary.
Hey, do your job, stagehand. Just put your lights on me and make me look good, okay? I'm Iron Mike.
He does kind of have a shrill voice, doesn't he? He's just like he sings very high on the songs. I gotta believe.
Oh, I didn't hear. I actually did not hear him up close on that encounter. So
Now you're
I
not.
can't tell you.
Now you're not supposed to, as a stagehand person, you're supposed to like avert your gaze or not really interact with the
Yeah, you're not
stars,
supposed to
right?
do that. It was kind of a little bit of a chance I took to. It was exciting, so I just was like, I don't know. That's like I said, it just came out.
Well, when you're making eye
That's what you
contact with
said.
Iron Mike, it may look like you're asleep because you're looking down into his eyes.
He's definitely not going to do this.
Does that stagehand fall
Show.
asleep? No, he's looking at Iron Mike's eyes because he's so short. See what I did there?
I was from a higher. I was in a higher position. I don't know if I was on top. I was on top of something, looking down on him. So,
You're not interacting. I mean, you've got to run lights on the guy, and him being so short on stage. I mean, it's just a professional thing. You're trying to figure out how am I going to light this fucker without his shadow dominating his,
Right.
physical presence. So it's more of a work thing, really. Saying, "Hey, Iron Mike, can I gauge? Can you stand on something? Can you stand on a phone book on stage?"
Where did Iron Mike go? He's behind the Marshall amp.
He's behind the microphone.
He's hiding.
right.
Hey, could you hear me?
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So
The guitar's
not really
playing
an-
itself on stage. No, Iron Mike's behind that.
So that particular encounter was not really a personal encounter, but it was it was special to me. So
That is good.
Sticks, what have you been? Tell us about one of your experiences.
You're going. There are several. So maybe I'm cheating a little bit in the same kind of way. But the one I will tell just as a personal connection, Kiss, right before they put the makeup on, did these really silly convention tours. They went to little hotel convention rooms, much like you'd go to a convention for your work, which it sounds really sad. And maybe to the outsiders it was, but it was really cool. So for $100, you got to listen to them do like a Q&A. They did a live concert. They had an opening band of like a makeup band. They brought the actual costumes. They brought drum sets, originals. So, I mean, all this kind of like a day. You're hanging out for a day with a bunch of dweeby Kiss fans, which I was at the time and maybe still am. So what I didn't realize at the time, though, like the concert's going on, and you're all sitting on the floor of this carpeted ballroom. So they, at some point during the concert, they start passing the mic around. So of course, everybody who has no talent is singing, "Call it Dr. Love," and they don't know the words. Of love, and then they pass the microphone around. It's like, Kiss is playing while people are singing along, and like that's kind of cool.
God.
So they're singing "Come On and Love Me," which I happen to love the song anyway. And the microphone comes my way, and someone behind, and some they had like hot-looking women passing the mics around, so of course they did. And she kind of pulled me up by the back of my shoulders, although I weighed 300 pounds at the time. No, I didn't weigh that. I didn't weigh as much as Iron Mike. So she kind of pulled me up. So like I'm standing in front of Kiss, like 50 feet away, and they're definitely looking at me because what else do you look at except the woman with the microphone? So
now, when you say Kiss, which members of Kiss?
Paul
Was it like
Jean,
the B group or the A group?
A group in terms of musical quality, the B group in terms of whoever anybody cares about. It's not the original band. It was Bruce and Eric with Gene and Paul.
Wow.
Eric
so
Singer?
You met
or
their gaze.
Eric Carr.
So Eric, singer.
Okay.
Singer. So this was like 95. Again, this is like in their lull period before, like, they knew they had to put the makeup on and make some money for a change instead of playing a fucking hotel ballroom.
Do you think they were looking at you, or were they looking through you?
In my mind at the time, it was as if Kay was lighting me from the heavens, and the band was staring at me, becoming their new lead singer instead of that hack Paul
I was
Stanley.
going to say that must have been quite nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Well, no, because you're in the moment. Because everybody's singing and yelling things out anyway, so it's not like America's Got Talent or anything. So I stand up and I've got my microphone.
What Kiss member did you paint your face as for this event?
Well, let's see. I took my shirt off, so I most looked like who's the fattest? Gene. I probably no, I didn't.
Did you wear your Simmons? Did you wear your Simmons for President T-shirt?
I may have. No, wait, that was 96. I may have. Oh shit, that'd be funny. I went with a friend of ours, by the way, but that's a different story. So anyway, so I'm singing. I sang like 2 lines of "Come On and Love Me," I know for sure Gene was looking either at me or at the woman next to me, probably the woman next to me. But I had 2 lines, and some guy next to me like kind of elbowed me, like, "Give me the fucking mic." Like, so I'm like, "And you're distant, and you're near. You can see yourself. You can see your face inside the mirror." Or whatever the line is. And then I like pass the mic over to the next guy. So for 10 seconds, I sang with Kiss. So it's not not a direct encounter where you're shaking hands and saying, "You meant the world to me," or anything like that. But
still, that's something.
And for $100 these days, you can't meet them backstage except if you pay like $1,500 for a 10-second snapshot. So,
right.
But that was not a personal encounter, but I have others like that. Maybe for part 2. Later on. But what about you, Nick? Have you ever run into a celebrity?
Well, I'll tell you what. I got a feeling that Nick is going to have a pretty good story. Let's take a quick break.
He never shuts
and we'll
up.
be right back. Hey, hooligans. Did you know that we create a Spotify playlist for each of our Rockcasts? Well, now you do. So click on one of those playlist links, get in and create a free account for yourself, and you can listen to all of our playlists. There's also a premium edition of Spotify that you can get for a few bucks a month. But no matter how you do it, make sure you support all the musicians that we talk about on our show.
You're listening to the RYAO Network Rockcast.
Okay, we're back. You know what, Nick? Let's do some Urban Dictionary before we hear your story.
Let's
You
do
ready
it,
for the
motherfucker.
music? Here it is.
Love it. Loving it.
Woo! All right.
All right, so we're gonna go back to what we've been doing the last couple times in Urban Dictionary is something very relevant, something very current, and this week's word is covidiot, and covidiot means someone who ignores the warnings regarding public health or safety. Another definition of covidiot is a person who hoards goods, denying them from their neighbors. Do you guys need me to use that covidiot in a sentence or anything? Just to help with understanding?
I'm not getting it totally.
You don't
yet.
understand?
I need context.
Got some context.
All right, great. I have 2 examples for you. The first example is, did you see that covidiot with 300 rolls of toilet paper in his basket? That's example number 1.
That's good.
Example number 2 is, that covidiot is hugging everyone she fucking sees. And that is another episode of Urban Dictionary. Check it out, urbandictionary.com. Use all the words that we're sharing on the podcast, the Rockcast.
So it's how do you spell it? Is that hyphenated?
It is not hyphenated. It's covidiot. It's spelled C-O-V, idiot. C-O-V-I-D-I-O-T.
All one word.
All one word, no
I'm
dashes.
using it.
Yeah. Oh, that's. As we go along, I'm just amazed at how it's really expanding my vocabulary as
really
well.
is. Yeah.
Sure. And the,
I mean,
and the kids.
it's something that you can use in everyday life, especially nowadays. So
I've used I used Maskell just the other day. So
you want to share the context or no?
No, and it's like I was just like,
Keep it to
fucking
yourself.
Maskell. Yeah.
I think that about does it there.
Yeah.
So let's hear about your rockstar encounter.
Celebrity encounter. So I have one that involves Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. I don't remember what year this was, but my wife and I were at a resort in Phoenix, Arizona called the Biltmore. And one morning we got up, and it wasn't too early, don't get me wrong. I mean, we got up and we went to the rec center, and we were on the elliptical machines, as couples do, and pretending like we're getting in shape, but we're really not, because we had a lot of beers the night before and whatnot.
Right.
And there were a couple other ladies in there, and I overheard them talking about how Steven Tyler was on the property. And so I leaned over to my wife and I said, Mrs. Sabat, I hear that Steven Tyler is on property. I'm going to go look for him. And Mrs. Sabat does her classic look at me, roll her eyes, and say, okay, just be careful. And so I don't know what she was saying be careful about. I'm not sure what kind of trouble I was going to get into, but I left. And so I did search the rec center at the Biltmore for Steven. And I ended up back in the locker room. And this locker room obviously has lockers, but it's also a shower area and a restroom area. And so I end up back in there, and if you guys know me, if you would see me, you would be obvious. It would be obvious to you that I'm just really killing time just to stall and see if I could find Steven Tyler. But nobody else knew that.
You're looking under stall doors to see if you could find like cowboy boots or something.
Well, to some extent, because
Oh God!
I did, I went to my locker and I opened it up as if I was looking for something, but I really wasn't. And then I locked it back up. And as I turned around, so this is a nice place where the urinals are actually in stalls with closed doors.
Ooh, wow!
So,
Freaking.
Yeah.
This isn't some raunchy place where the urinals are out in the open. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. That's class.
As I turn around, I see these scrawny feet and heels in this urinal, and the feet are kind of rocking back and forth. And I remember looking at the feet and the heels, and I'm thinking, that could be Steven Tyler's feet. And so I walk over to the sink again, stalling, and I'm washing my hands.
So wait. When you said in and heels, you mean like? Can you describe?
Not high heels, just like the heels and the Achilles heel of his foot.
Okay.
He wasn't wearing high heels. That would have been a better story. When I tell this story from now on, Steven Tyler's going to be in high heels when I tell the story from here on out.
Okay, but I got it. Go ahead.
That's a good point of clarity. Thanks for, because that would be funny, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm washing my hands, and I notice that there's 2 other dumbasses in there along with me stalking Steven Tyler. And Steven walks out of the urinal stall, And by that point, I'm done, quote unquote, washing my hands. And
For the fourth time.
Steven is starting to talk to these two other dumbasses. And then I kind of walk up, but not directly to them, but I walk toward them. And he looks at me as if, oh, this guy is here to introduce himself. And so Steven extends his hand, and I extend my hand.
Wow.
And we shake hands. And by the way, Steven Tyler does not wash his hands after he urinates, or at least he did not in this situation. And all along in my head, I was thinking, what am I going to say to Steven Tyler? And so as it came to me, I'm going to repeat something like a lyric from one of his songs. And so as we're shaking hands, I say, you ain't seen nothing till you're down on the muffin. And he looked at me and he said, damn straight. And so at that point, it's just kind of like, what do? You know, it's kind of like mission accomplished, right? I met Steven Tyler. I shook his hand that is laced with his own urine and penis. And so anyways, I go back to my locker as if there was something in my locker that I needed to get, which there was not.
A bag to breathe in and hyperventilate in.
Steven Tyler's locker is just like several lockers away from mine. So he comes over and he's undressing. He's in his underwear. He spent some time at the spa. You could tell his toenails and fingernails were really well done and immaculate polish. And I remember asking him, did you play last night here in Phoenix? And he says, oh, yeah, man, we rocked the house. And I said, oh, well, that's cool.
That's awesome.
And so, again, he's very nice. He's responding to my questions. It's not being, a mask hole. And so I just said, good talking to you. Nice to meet you. And he's like, yeah, you too. And so I left. And then at some point, I go back to my wife and, and I let her know that I saw Steven Tyler, and then I said, I'm going to go see him again. So at this point, it really did turn into stalking.
Yeah.
And so I as if I'm walking out of the rec center, he's at the front desk paying for his services that he's received for the day. He's just got this huge wad of bills. There's no plastic. He's like whipping out bills. And so, so I walk out, and then again I walk outside, and I'm kind of stalling. What am I waiting for, right? So, anyways, he walks out, and then he leaves. So, I don't know. 30 minutes goes by or something, and my wife and I were done working out. We go sit at the pool, and we're sitting at the pool, and I tell Mrs. Abbott, I'm gonna go to my room and get the camera just in case Steven Tyler shows back up. And again, Mrs. Abbott rolls her eyes, and then I go get my camera. And so I come back with the camera. We're sitting in our lounge chairs. Lo and behold, who's coming down the goddamn sidewalk? Steven Tyler.
Steven Tyler.
I'm just thinking, this is my opportunity, right? Yeah, I could hear him coming. He's just, I didn't even see him. I was like, I think Steven's coming. It's kind of like, when you hear the sirens in the parade. You know the parade's coming because you can hear it. You just can't see it.
That's what he does. He walks around going,
He doesn't stop. It's fucking annoying, to be honest.
Walking to the pool. Walk this way and walking to get a drink. Yeah. So he walks up to the pool, and then what happens is
as he
sees
walks by, I say, hey, Steven. And I got my camera up, and I pointed to it, and I was like, can we take a picture?
Polaroid.
No, this is the age of digital cameras. Right. Mind you, I have like a 2.8 megapixel at the time. I mean, it was top of the line.
You could have taken a lot of pictures.
So he kind of rolls his eyes, and I'm thinking, you've seen my wife do that. That's where you're getting this from. He kind of rolls his eyes. And he said, if I do it for you, I got to do it for everybody. And you know what? I gave him the out. I said, hey, you know what? I understand. It's cool. We don't need to do it. He's like, no, that's okay. So he was accommodating. So I give the camera to Mrs. Abbott. Mrs. Abbott's extremely nervous. I could see it. Like her hands are shaking at this point. God. And so Steven and I, long lost buddies, put our arms around each other, and she takes a spectacular picture of Steven and I.
Wow.
And I said, thank you. And he said, no problem. And he starts walking off. I sit down in my lounge chair, And then lo and behold, somebody else gets up and says, "Hey, can we get a picture?"
Oh.
And Steven looks over his shoulder and he looks at me and he said, "See what you did?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck." I felt like Iron Mike. I felt like the I was that tall.
Like the littlest guy in the world.
Yeah.
Totally. But you know what? I got what I went for. I got the picture.
Yeah, I mean,
That is fantastic.
You gave him the out. He didn't take it, so.
Yeah, and it's actually the Christmas card picture for every other year since that's occurred. So.
Yeah, wow.
But
And
yeah,
then he
he went down and he apparently he had rented a cabana. He wasn't with anybody. Like when he came by, he was by himself. When he went back, he was with another person that looked like it could have been a bodyguard. But he was pretty chill. I mean, he hung out at the pool for maybe an hour, got in the water. Of course, he attracts a lot of attention. And when he walked by, we were still out there, and he didn't really acknowledge or anything or say hi. But he was, I don't know. Overall, he seemed like he was a very pleasant person at the time. So.
Yeah,
And where was the rest of the group? Wasn't hanging out. You know, Joe Perry wasn't sitting around playing a guitar poolside and like.
No, but the next morning I did see Joey Kramer having a bagel and coffee by himself on his cell phone at the same resort.
The drummer was all by himself. What a surprise.
He was talking on the phone, yeah. I could hear his Boston accent as I walked by and as he was stuffing his bagel in his mouth.
What are some features of what does Steven Tyler carry with him when he's at the pool?
Oh, that's a good question. He had like a little drawstring knapsack. It wasn't very, very large. But I was surprised that he didn't have like some sort of entourage or as the kids say, posse with him.
Right.
Like I said, when he went back, there was one person that seemed to be escorting him. He probably hired this person because he felt like he was being stalked by me. So he just hired somebody at the swimming pool to walk with him. In
response to you, he probably called them up especially for that.
But there was no entourage or anything. But Joey Kramer was sitting completely by himself outside on the cell phone. There was nobody with him either. So I guess you always imagine that these people are going to be surrounded by other people for some reason, but that it wasn't the case at all.
Yeah.
If I would have seen Joey Kramer, I would have interrupted his phone call to say, I don't know if you know me. I just met Steven Tyler. I got a picture. I'm serious, dude. I got a picture of him to share you.
Steven Tyler took a picture with me. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Does he carry cell phone with him, or does he? I mean, was
Steven?
that? Yeah,
I didn't see a cell phone. If there was one, it was in his drawstring knapsack.
But he wasn't on the phone with anybody. I
No.
would think that.
No,
he was just chilling out.
No, it's as if he left the spa area and then he went to his room to get his knapsack. And why is it surprising to us that he would go to his room and get a bag to go down the pool? That's what we all do, right?
I know, but celebrities are just like us. They drink water. Wow. But that is a cool story though, right?
Yeah, that is a good story.
Yeah, there was a lot of detail there for sure.
Let's take another break here, and we'll get into other things. First, there was rock, and now there's RYAO. So join us each week on the RYAO Rockcast, where we talk about life, music, and more. From the silly to the serious, the profane to the profound. Never stop rocking.
This is Styx Hooligan. You're listening to the RYAO Network Rockcast.
All right, so some good celebrity encounters. Rockstar encounters. And if you, hooligans, have a rockstar encounter that you would like to share with us, feel free to post that or give us a message, and we would be happy to contact you, get some information, have some fun, talk about some things with you as well.
Or tell us how you spell akakakakakakao, because that is a bone of contention within our group.
Right.
Hey,
but
we've been talking about celebrities who are actually like of consequence that we'd like. I was washing dishes last night, and I pulled a cassette tape at random for my bin of cassettes, and for some fucking reason, it was a Grateful Dead bootleg from
Oh, geez.
Who gives a shit? And it's the most. Now I like Grateful Dead songs. I like Truckin'
Right.
and Friend of the Devil and shit like that. I like songs that are constructed.
Yeah, I love
But
Running
Jesus.
with the Devil.
Friends of the Running with the Devil. Now, I got to ask, though, because I know they're a jam band. I know you just go to their concerts to listen and dick around for 15 minutes per song, and then they stop and do something else. Kay, especially. Kay, you've been in bands. Do you get any pleasure out of just jamming, just dicking around for endless minutes, just noodling around your guitar? Is there pleasure in that or pleasure to hear it? Because I don't get why people are into that.
Well, it's just a different style of entertainment, and just depends on the crowd. I've never been in a band that's really been interested in doing that as much because people just sort of become a little uninterested. When I play in a band, I like to be I want people to look up at the band and see what are they going to do next. You know,
now you're talking.
But if you want to play at a coffee house or, you know, just be background music, that's a totally different type of show.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you want to smoke pot.
Yeah,
not
but
remember what you did.
And you said you're on stage. If you're watching people dance to what you're playing, or you can watch them singing along to a chorus that you're singing, I imagine that's pretty cool. Versus, and then the bass player's got to have his turn because he doesn't. You don't want to get him jealous. So,
well, I mean, it's just a different kind of. It's just a different approach for a different crowd. Some people really like that type of thing. It just depends.
Right. Shitty versus not shitty. Well, I tell you what, there's another group that pisses me off a little bit in the same vein that makes me think of it. Now, I grew up with Rush. I suckled at the teat of Rush. See, I drank from the nipples of Rush's. How far can I extend this metaphor out?
Now?
Are you?
I milked
your cat.
I love Rush until the point where I fucking hate Rush. So tell me why, because this is another group that people claim is fantastic and you've got to love them. Have you heard blah 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 blah? And yeah, I've heard it. So I think for Rush before 2001 around, loved them. 70s especially, 80s. You can name a bunch of songs. Tom Sawyer up through Roll the Bones. That was pretty good shit. A couple albums after that. And then they started just cranking out shit that I think the Rush fans say this is as good as anything they've ever done. And it all sounds the fucking same for the last 10 years of their career. Mm-hmm. No choruses, no melodies, no memorable solos. It's just crap. Am I alone on this?
No, I
Can
think
somebody back me up and say they all sound like Rush sucks in the past 10 years of their career? Thank you.
I'm not going to say that I'm as well educated in the past 10 years. I have heard some, but I'm going to validate what you're saying by saying that I stopped at Roll the Bones. So that was pretty early on. Was that like early to mid 90s?
Why did you stop? Why did you stop there?
I can't remember the name of the album that came out after that, but I remember listening to it from someone else, and it just wasn't. I think Roll the Bones was pretty high quality, and that one wasn't. And then I just kind of lost interest after that. But I was never a super fan to begin with. I think they've got some great music. I think they have a good story, but certainly not a super fan at any point. So it was probably pretty easy for me to lose interest.
They're good people. I love them as a band, as people, as musicians. Love them across the board, but fucking entertain me. Let me sing along. Kay, what do you say about this?
Well, I think they became more, when you're really into Rush, when you're a Rush fan, you're going to really delve into all of the idiosyncrasies in their music, and there's a lot of good music that they've put out in the last 10 years, and it's you have to. It's not going to be like that big chorus type song stuff, but it's stuff that if you're a fan of them, you're going to mine it out. You're going to find it. You're going to like it. And I'll tell you what, though, if you have never been to a Rush concert, you've missed out, because it's absolutely. I mean, amazing doesn't cover it.
I agree.
It's almost kind of surreal that people can do what they do, and that alone blew my mind when I have seen them live.
Yeah, and we're all fans of that live music. But I mean, you bring up a good point, Kay. So certainly not comparing the musical quality of Kiss to Rush, because there is no comparison, right? Kiss just is not the same quality as Rush. But back in the day, they could do no wrong according to their diehard Kiss fans. And, certainly they came out and people were judgmental or critiqued it pretty hard. But, it changed. It just seemed like it changed genres over the years. But regardless of what they were putting out, it was good. And if you were a diehard Kiss fan, you liked it. And I'm sure it was the same for Rush.
Right. No, but I can, with them and with other bands that, I'm sure we can name a number of them, but, and insult a whole,
let's just go down the list.
People.
But honestly, that's my question though, because those are just people who I don't understand. Like, I'm missing something, or I've got the clarity that somebody lacks. Either it's one of the two. And I think in this case, it's a clarity. I recognize 30 years of a band who's been around for 40 years. That's still a damn good run, but don't bullshit me to say the last 10 were as great as the first 30. So do you guys have any bands that are like that, where you're just like, I don't get it. I don't get their response.
I think that bands can shift, of course, into different phases, and you just didn't enjoy that phase.
No, I like songs. That's true. I don't like music. Right. I like songs. So they were just cranking out, here's a song. It's 5.5 minutes of song. And then another song.
And I'm certainly not to that point with Foo Fighters, but I can tell that as the Foo Fighters are around longer, they are much more highly produced and highly refined. And as much as they try to say, hey, we're going to record this on tape versus digital, that sounds great, and it sounds like you're trying to get back to your roots, but it's still very highly engineered to some extent. And so I'm certainly not to that point with Foo Fighters, because that's obviously one of my favorite bands that I listen to a lot now. So I'm not to that point, but I can kind of see where are you going to go with this? Where do you go from when you get to that level of success and popularity? Where do you go from there?
Yeah, but Foo Fighters. I'm sorry, Kay. I'm going to let you jump in, but Foo Fighters at least makes attempts to create. I can tell Dave's trying to write a song. Here's the build up. It might be formula, but at least here's the soft build up, big chorus, drop it down real quiet. Big chorus, stadium chanter, and it just goes from there. But, if he just made a song that it was just a verse and a bunch of noodling solos and no chorus, what the fuck is going on?
Well,
I don't want that from you.
All I'll say is I think that a lot of Rush fans, they resonate a lot with the lyrics, and that may be a big part of it as well. But and what a song is about for them, I don't know. It's a different resonation that they have. But then there's also when I think about your question, it's also just kind of goes back to what artist do you like? Nick is not a Bowie fan.
Wait a second. Here are you, mister.
And I'm not. I've just never really gotten into Bowie stuff.
No, that's good though. That's so you. Clearly, but you hear people say he's a genius. Everything he does is amazing, right?
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, but maybe if I did understand it, or somebody sat down with me and tied my hands behind my back in a chair and put a light on me and tortured me and told me all about
What?
Bowie, I might start
Is this
to
a fantasy
see
of
the
yours?
light.
And then they really then they pulled my pants down, and then they really tied my hands together really hard and slapped me around a little bit. It was like, I thought this was about David Bowie.
Stuck this ball in my mouth and what?
Roll of Visqueen and a case of 10W40 and a.
Okay, I like
But
Let's
that's beyond-
Dance. I like Let's Dance. Do some more to me.
We're getting a little bit off the subject.
The only
here,
other
but-
thing that I'll add to that is that Rush concerts are usually sausage fest too. So
Now, can I jump in with that? I know we just cycled back around to that, and yes. But now I went the one Rush concert I went to, the last one, outdoor stadium. I took my mother when she could still do such things, and my niece, who was at the time like 13. So we had like 3 generations of Rush fans within 4 seats because my brother was there, having a fucking ball. I mean, I am not used to seeing a crowd that's as synced up as they are for Rush, and and instrumental. They're playing instrumentals, and we're singing the instrumentals. We're singing YYZ back to them. We're singing the guitar solos back to the band. No one does that. Amazing stuff.
That was good music.
That was great music.
Yeah.
And then they stopped. That's my point. And but David Bowie, David Bowie's kind of the same thing with me too, though. It's kind of like you've got to hear these. It's like, what am I listening to? I'm listening to 6 minutes of feedback, and that's not genius.
Well, it's kind of like
I could do that.
It's like music that you can appreciate, but would you really crank it? Is it your favorite thing to crank? When you're driving home, it's 2 different kinds of ways of looking at it. So I don't know. Maybe we should have a Rush fan, Rush super fan on the show at some point.
Did that Don McLean song, American Pie, was that singing about Rush? Like the day the music died, like the day that their music started to suck?
The day Rush music sucked. 2001. No, that's a good K. That's a great thing. If anybody out there wants to prove me wrong, point me to a song in their later part of their career that's good, or the massive fans of David Bowie songs that are out there who will point me to.
Oh my gosh!
Like here's a masterpiece you need to listen to.
No, I think that's a great call to action. Let's hear from you Bowie fans. I always say Bowie because I think about like Bowie knives, but I'm stabbing myself when I'm listening to David Bowie. No, that's not true.
Don't make me listen to his music. I'll stab myself.
No, but yeah, maybe we need to talk to some people that have an appreciation and then understand that appreciation, and
we'll get you on the pod. We'll get you on the Rockcast.
I definitely grew into Rush music. I used to not really appreciate it until I was surrounded by several people who showed me that the aspects of the music that were cool, but it's just like if you're not tuned into it, you won't appreciate it, and you will see it as like you're probably seeing a lot of the music as sort of this sounds like the same thing, but if you're more of an aficionado, you're going to appreciate it. It's like whiskey. I don't understand how people can discern between different whiskeys because it all tastes like lighter fluid to me.
That's a good analogy. That's a really good analogy.
Lighter fluid A or lighter fluid B. Who cares? I can scrape the skin off the inside of my mouth after I drink it. It doesn't matter to me. But some people have an appreciation for it. So.
And Nick is saying,
I love me some whiskey.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I think with that, let's wrap it up here for today.
Wrap it up, baby.
Walk out of here.
We'll come back and offend more people next time.
Yeah, part two will come up because there are more artists that we think suck. No, they don't suck. They don't suck. I just don't want to. I don't want to be told there's genius out there when I think it's just a 3-year-old playing around with a xylophone. Anyway, go back. Sorry, Kay, take us out.
Exactly. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Check out our website at ryao.net. Get on any of the social media platforms found at the top of the Contact Us page. Give us some feedback. Let us know some things that you'd like us to talk about that we can offend you with. Tell us what you like, what you'd like to see more of.
Offend
what you
us.
Don't like about the program. We love the feedback. So we'll see you next week. Go blow yourselves
See ya.
and never stop rocking.
Right.
Bye.